Looks like we're talking about zombies, and royal promises, and candy people, and the candy kingdom, and oozers, and everything else, because in my eternal quest to cover all that is Adventure Time, I will be covering 288 episodes in consecutive order. So with that being said, let us begin with the very first episode of Adventure Time to ever air, which was Slumber Party Panic. Now, the first thing that we see within the episode is seeing Princess Bubblegum attempt to create life. To be specific, she was trying to resurrect all of her dead candy citizens that she wasn't able to actively recreate. With the very first individual she attempted to resurrect being old Mr. Cream Puff, which strangely enough she actually used to date, which is a little strange considering she created him. Imagine being created specifically so that you could date your creator. I'm not sure how I would feel about that. However, as per usual, when it comes to 90% of mad science experiments, the first thing that you would pretty much assume is that it does not go as planned. The decorpsinator serum was incomplete, resulting in the creatures being brought back to not actually be alive, but instead be reanimated as undead creatures. As per zombie usuals, they have an incredible lust for flesh, but due to the fact that they are candy people, they actually mainly go after sugar. Due to the fact that they completely go after sugar, and the candy kingdom is made up entirely of candy, sugar, pastries, and basically every single sweet under the sun, they would be attracted to the kingdom entirely, as well as the citizens within. Realizing that the candy citizens would absolutely freak out if they saw the zombies, Princess Bubblegum decided to basically hide the fact that zombies were around by having them all do a slumber party, as well as forcing a royal promise onto Finn in order to ensure that he doesn't spill the beans without actually telling him what a royal promise even was. A lot of mistakes were made this episode. Sworn to secrecy, Finn tries to actually keep everyone safe despite the fact that there are literal zombies banging on the door. And surprisingly, he actually managed it, with him as well as the other candy people basically killing all of the zombies, with him tricking everyone to thinking that they were just beating the hell out of piñatas. However, once Jake comes back, he ends up making the very bad mistake of telling Jake what had transpired, which leads me into the next part of this video, which is royal promises. Royal promises are basically contracts by word of mouth, which, if broken, results in the Gumball Guardians coming after you. They are incredibly strange because I'm not sure whether or not they can be done anywhere besides the Candy Kingdom. However, if one is broken within the Candy Kingdom, the main thing that occurs is that time completely stops. Everything literally freezes over, aside from the individuals who made the royal promise in the first place. Afterwards, the Gumball Guardians will basically appear and take the promise breaker and then give them a trial by fire, which in reality is pretty much just an execution with extra steps. Interestingly enough, even though Princess Bubblegum had created the Gumball Guardians, as we find out in a later episode, she cannot actually just tell them to back off if someone breaks a promise. Instead, if they care for the promise breaker, then they can actually have a significantly easier trial by answering math questions. These questions can be incredibly complex, as the Gumball Guardians are definitely capable of coming up with those, but at the same time, the question that they choose is entirely based on them, which can result in a chosen problem being as simple as 2 + 2, but considering that there's no public education within the land of Ood, that could still be difficult depending on who you are. If the broken promise is defeated via trial, then the Gumball Guardians reset and time resumes. Princess Bubblegum, with the help of Finn's answer, would actually master her decorpsinator serum and would actually revive all of the dead relatives of the candy citizens, resulting in an overall pretty happy ending at the end of the episode. However, we are still not done because we still have a speculation section to get through, and luckily for me, I actually do in fact have something to talk about. Given what they do as well as what they look like, I heavily believe that the zombies are based off of the oozers, at least in terms of lore, because we know that the oozers actually fill many of the same credentials in regards to looks. Not only do oozers not only retain some of their intelligence after being brought back as oozers, but they're also biologically immortal. They do not die of old age like candy citizens. Also, just like the zombies, oozers, as their name implies, are continuously oozing green goop, with their eyes literally being either melted or glowing. We also do in fact know that Princess Bubblegum flat out interacted with these creatures long before they ended up hibernating and becoming less common. Now, granted, this is somewhat superficial, mainly due to looks, so I don't really think you should put too much thought into it, but at the same time, I thought it would just be really cool to mention. But that's all I really have for this video. Something nice, short, and sweet to kick off this major marathon. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Thanks so much to my patrons, and if you want to support me, become one of my patrons. I'm going to be actually overhauling my patron system, so if you guys want to actually help out, because these keep on getting copyright claimed, I would love to have your support. But anyway, that's all I got for this video. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye.